The whole point of my talk show is to show you that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, so prove to them you can still amount to something. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, and this is episode 190. We have two great guests here on the Keith Andrew Network. Both of them are from the United Kingdom. So with that being said, it is an honor and privilege to have both of you with us. And the first subject we're going to talk to you about is the coronavirus. Stephen, we're going to start off with you. How has the coronavirus impacted your life and your acting career?
Well, actually, I started after the coronavirus. I managed to get into a settled job, and I just felt that everything was starting to get back to normal, where productions was starting. I'd never been in filming before, and it was a local production, and they was looking for some crusaders, some sword fighting was going to be there. It's so much fun to enjoy. And I'm almost 50, and it's got to that time in my life when I just thought, do you know what? I'm actually at a happy place, and I've just thought, right, let's take this on, let's take this challenge on. And I felt right from there, I'm going from there. So the coronavirus, when it came before then, yeah, it really hit me hard. There's jobs. I started new jobs. I was in and out of jobs. But yeah, once it was more or less over and done with, as in, yeah, it's still going on now. We still, I've had it 5 times in the last year and a half. But it's becoming more of a cold now, and I just feel, my body's more immune to it. Yeah, I just felt acting. Let's get into it. And yeah, it's just suddenly just the extra sort of work that I'm getting. It's because I'm putting the hard work into it, I'm getting the replies back. And
Uh,
that's what it's all about, isn't it?
No, I agree. I had it 2 times, and unfortunately, it's like a bad itch. It's never got to go away, and it's going to be like the common cold or the flu. You're going to get vaccinated, you're going to get your boosters, but all you have to do, what I would say, is keep your immune system up. And if I keep you, I do agree with you. It's going to be like the common cold. That's unfortunately the new normal.
Mm.
And when I'm going to ask you the same exact question.
For me, pretty similar, but I've been in the business for 25 years. And when the coronavirus first hit, we were in the middle of filming a major production, major film. And so everything shut down. So, as Stephen will know, when we get booked onto a production, we block out those days and weeks because we're working. And so we don't accept any other work. And to suddenly lose 6 weeks to start with, and then it was week after week after week, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. And it was like, ah. So I actually went back into my old job of nursing, and I became a COVID nurse.
Respect.
So I was, working, but as a COVID nurse. But when production started back, for us, I don't know about you, Stephen, but for us, it was much long. The process was much longer. We had to go in the day before, do a COVID test, go home, isolate, go into filming in the morning. Pinewood in particular can't get past reception unless you've done your COVID test, and you had to show your negative, and it was 2 meters apart, mask on. Literally, even on set we were wearing masks until they said rolling, and then whip the mask off, stick it up your sleeve, stick it in your pocket, stick it under your pinny, action. And then the minute we cut, masks back on again. So it made the whole filming process a much longer day.
I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was, I'm gonna butcher his name. I can see his name.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh no, he's a famous actor. I think he's British, and he had a meltdown on set because it was during COVID, and again, the production crew weren't wearing a mask, and it's uncensored, by the way. You can curse if you want to. And he says, put your fucking mask back on. You're going to get us canceled. I can see his face. I can't think of his name, but there's a video of it on him going on a big rant. It's
Wow.
really funny, but he was right, and
Yeah.
for me, you have to be. I am for being vaccinated. And it's my brother said a couple years ago, if people got vaccinated when this first came out, we could have stopped it right then. But
I
going
disagree.
back, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I disagree. Carry on.
Oh, I want to hear your opinion.
I have not been vaccinated. I will not be vaccinated because I know the dangers of it. I know people that have been, have been vaccinated and have had COVID 4 or 5 times since.
No, you're right. And just because you're vaccinated, I give you an example. I always get the flu shot. Now, it's not a guarantee that you won't get it. But I guess mentally, it's it makes you feel better mentally. But I give you an example. I recently worked at Walmart and I got sick. I thought my brother thinks it was Corona, but this was 2020 and they weren't tested. I went to the doctors and they said, well, you have a stomach virus and you have flu A. I got the flu shot. Now, the flu shot will only protect you if it's like strain A or strain B. It doesn't protect you from both of them. So that's kind of was the corona shot. Yes, it will protect you, but there are different variants and different uh, bacterial things. Stephen, what do you think?
I have taken the vaccinations. I believe I'm up to three. And I believe each time that I've had a vaccination, it's made future versions of me catching the bug weaker. Now, I do have coughing issues in the morning sometimes, but 10 years back, I had an operation regarding acid reflux. So,
Yeah.
you got to look at this. But I play hockey at the weekends. I'm running around. I'm full of life. You got to enjoy it, and I've known too many people die from it, as well as the likes of cancer, etc. And it's sometimes you just got to think, right, okay, what's best for me? Will this actually help me? There's always side effects with everything that you have. If you have paracetamol, you could be allergic to it. But, other things like that. You've just got to take it on yourself. You've got to have your own view.
No, I agree. Now, the next subject we talked about is when you started your acting career. I call it the flight of stairs because when you walk up those steps, each step is a step in life. So, when we're going to start off with you, what attracted you to begin your acting career, and what were some of your greatest achievements?
Who's this to, me or Stephen?
Oh, you.
Me? Oh gosh, right. Okay. I started 25 years ago. I kind of started by accident. A friend of mine was in the production and said, oh, hey, why don't you join us? And I was like, no, I can't act. But people think you have to act. Actually, no, you just have to be yourself and embody a character. Some of my greatest achievements, I've done 4 Star Wars films. I've done 1 James Bond film. And last night at the Oscars, a film that I'm in swept the board quite nicely. So I've got quite a few achievements. I've worked with a lot of A-listers. I've learned a lot and I just thoroughly enjoy it. And one of the biggest things for me, maybe for Stephen as well, is I get paid to film with people and in places that you wouldn't normally get to be, as opposed to you have to pay to go into a venue. I get paid to go in. I don't have to pay to go in.
Oh, that's nice.
Spend days and weeks with people whose fan club would buy my right leg to swap places with me. So I never take any job for granted. I always feel that I'm very blessed and I'm very privileged to be in the position I'm in.
What could you tell somebody about some of your favorite films that you were a part of?
I've done all the Sherlocks and I've done all the TV series of Sherlocks. I'm in a well-known soap over here called EastEnders quite a lot. I'm also in a period drama called Call the Midwife quite a lot. I've done things like The Crown, Downton Abbey, all the usual. And I suppose another achievement is I'm a born again Christian and I wrote a book, my first book, and it was based on how God, and the title is Seeing God Through the Camera Lens. And it's basically about how God has used me on film sets all over the world in my career. And it's a charity book. So all the proceeds of that are going to my charity.
I do want to talk to you guys about the Oscars, but Stephen, I want to hear from you. What attracted you to begin your career, and what were some of your greatest achievements?
So at the moment, Keith, it's still quite new, isn't it? With the production literally starting just over a year and a half ago, and I just felt, within that year of doing several different scenes, because it was done at weekends and some holidays sort of times. I just felt I need to get and view other stuff. So I did a short sword course, and like the Three Musketeers, APC recognised, and I felt right, okay, and I just got the vibe from the contacts that was going there that if I wanted to become an extra, that or potentially even further, then start doing some of these other activities as well, connect with a lot of people, like, doing this now, and just grow yourself like you would a LinkedIn profile or, your Instagram. And from that, I'm volunteering, helping students produce their short films. So, Lynn, you've got tons of experience. I'd love to hear loads from you. But, I'm at that first step, like into the second step.
Keith, can you give Stephen my email address after this, please? I'm
Yeah,
happy.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, I just remembered it. I think it was Kristen Bale or it was Tom Cruise. While I was telling you the story when they're doing the production and he just had a meltdown. I was
I've
I don't
worked
remember.
with Tom Cruise, and he's, contrary to belief, Tom Cruise is actually a fantastic guy. I've worked with him.
That's
Oh,
all right.
hey, if you can hook me up, I appreciate that. He seems to, I like Tom Cruise. He does some crazy stunts. I fit like thinking me like. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So yeah, just going on from some of the other stuff that I've done is this weekend just gone. I was literally helping out the Royal Holloway University. and there was a horror that they're doing, and it's called The Tarot, the movie. And I was a cult member there and a bouncer. One got to see my face, one you didn't. And you know, from that aspect, this week has just been, you know, just pinging out emails to other, you know, students that's doing things. But I found another one that I've actually got booked in, a gangster film as well, coming up. So yeah, it's all different genres, and it's all about getting the right steps that I need to be pushed into the right direction. I have a full-time job, which I've got a really good company that backs me, and it is all about just moving forward in whatever direction the world, the universe, God puts me in.
Oh, absolutely. Now, did any, I can't speak. Did any of you see the Oscars last night?
I did.
No, I watched the
Well,
BAFTAs.
We
what were some of your favorite moments from the Oscars? And what was the film that you were hinting towards that won all the awards?
Oppenheimer.
Ah.
Hands down, Robert Downey Jr. was the best part of that movie. He's a terrific actor. He deserved it.
Sorry, I've got a cat joining us. There we go.
Hello,
Yeah,
Mr. Kitty.
Jude Law in all the Sherlock films.
Yes, absolutely cracking. Yeah.
You know, there's a funny thing where I sent you guys the film as soon as we're done. They said it's because of Oppenheimer, he created Godzilla. Because when the bomb goes off, it's at the same time it hits Japan. And the next thing you know, it leads into Godzilla. I'm like, oh, I didn't know Oppenheimer has anything to do with Godzilla.
Yeah.
I thought it was really funny. Whoever came up with that, so it's a great, brilliant idea.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What,
I've never written or anything. I only act in these things. But you hear so many times the writers, and they say, when we wrote this, we had no idea how it was going to go. I know from a point of view of when you film something, when you're physically filming it as you are canning it, you don't know how it's going to go. You don't know how it's going to be received. I mean, amazing people like Olivia Colman, yeah, Oscar winner Olivia Colman. She's done films that have bummed, but you don't go into it going, "Oh, this is gonna bum." You just don't know. And it was the same with Oppenheimer. It just swept the board. BAFTAs, Golden Globes, Oscars, but also the best actor, best actress, and best film winners at the BAFTAs, and Golden Globes is usually an indicator of where the Oscars is going to go. Usually.
no, I agree. Now, what were some of your favorite moments, during the Oscars? What did you think about Arnold Schwarzenegger and Arnold Schwarzenegger coming out with Danny DeVito? That was really funny. And John Cena, I don't know how much money they paid John Cena to go on stage nude.
I'm not commenting.
But I felt the Michael Keaton one was really funny. It was the Batman skit. But let me ask you, did you ever work with Michael Keaton? Because you mentioned you worked with some big names.
I don't believe I have yet, no.
Well,
But I
never say never.
Mm.
I have some work in the diary.
I do have a couple questions for you guys off the air, but I want to ask you the last subject. For people with disabilities who want to follow in your footsteps, is there any websites? And it's a two-part question. Next one I ask you is social media. How can people follow you on social media? And is there any websites you use daily, like Facebook, LinkedIn? Is there any, and I don't mean that this is in a poor taste, is there any websites you use religiously that you say, if it wasn't for this website, I wouldn't be where I am?
Twitter, X. I have a lot of fans on X. Twitter. I use Facebook. I use Instagram, but that's probably a third. So I would say X, Facebook, Twitter, and they're all X, Facebook, and Instagram, and they're all in my real name, which you can see here. They're not in my stage name, but I can be found on IMDb, which is the International Movie Database, but that's under my stage name, not my real name.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Stephen?
Well, I'm finding a lot of stuff that's interesting me through Facebook. And what I'm actually reporting on my sort of style is on Instagram, which is Steve Valentine too. And yeah, there's so much that you can have out there, and it's having the time to juggle your day job and your social media, then doing your commitment into like your passion, your hobbies. It's not just a job for me, you know. It's great, you know, helping the youngsters last weekend. You know, it was absolutely fantastic. I've got no experience before this, but the guy that I did my first production with, just I saw a few angles. I spoke to him about it. He were very, very friendly. Yeah, I wouldn't do this to, you know, Ridley Scott or anyone, you know, in that sort of area. But you know, it's helpful hints, and yeah, I've just enjoyed it, really enjoyed it. So you know, with Facebook, that is where I'm picking up a lot of the experience from, and with there is a number of agencies out there that you can sign on, but you know, it's finding the right ones
I'll
rather
send
than
you the
spam.
right ones.
Yeah. And you know, with the experience I'm getting from I'm doing a long sword course next, which is in a couple of weeks' time that starts. So yeah, it's about getting all that sort of experience and then putting that into my social media as well. But I look at a lot of stuff rather than posting a lot of stuff, and posting is only the essential stuff rather than I've had eggs, beans, and sausages for breakfast. You know, I love my family life. My daughter's creative writing at university. My wife's got a great job, you know, and you know, yes, we want to be a little bit away from posting everything out there. What shade of lipstick has someone got on, you know, or trying to be an influencer. I'm not trying to be that. I'm trying to have fun. Just trying to be able. I behind my laptop now, I must have at least 1,000 DVDs. And I've not only got that, I've got Disney, I've got Netflix, I've got all the film apps that you can have. And I love watching film, but actually being in it, I actually really like that as well. I'm not here to watch myself. I now see fight scenes in a different way.
Right.
And that's what it's all about, I believe. And it's understanding that. And, you know, you may find that, you know, you're seeing a lot of passion come from me. I have so much to give. And it's just getting on that right direction and leading into the right places.
Yeah,
Going
yeah.
back to your question, Keith,
Yes.
about people with disabilities and stuff. When I first started out, you would often see able-bodied people put in a wheelchair. But now, if you see somebody in a wheelchair, they're really in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
What I like about EastEnders is they had a deaf actress. No, I'm virtually deaf. I lip read or I sign. And you have a lot of people coming forward now, like Rosie, the stand-up comedian. You have a lot of people with disabilities that are not hiding anymore. And I know, and I want to steer away from the disability discriminatory rights stuff, but it's kind of almost embarking on that now. You can't misgender someone. You
Yeah.
can't racist someone, you know, not that we would, I'm not saying that, but it's the same with disabilities. You know, people will say, well, if I spoke right, or if I could see right, or if I could hear right, would I still get that role? I mean, I
There's
know a
people.
friend of mine who has a CV, and the minute he puts that he's deaf on it, they don't even look at it. But now they have to by law, because the law is changing for disabilities. And the more, I mean, I don't want to see the pendulum swing the other way either, you know, where everybody's got a disability on the film set, you know. But if the face and the character fits for that role, who cares if they're in a wheelchair? Who cares if they're blind? Who cares if they're deaf? Put them in the movie. No reason why you can't.
Oh yeah, I agree with you 100%. Now wrapping up our talk show, I do have a couple questions for you guys off the air. But wrapping up, when I want you to be brutally honest, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what made you say yes, and how do you feel now?
Lynn? I saw your email, your message, and I thought, well, I suffer from dyslexia, and I believe that I can be a extra actor or a potential actor at some point in a comedy series, or I'm not trying to get into Star Wars, or anything like that. It's just, hey, that's a dream, isn't it? But the reality is everyone has got the right to try anything they want to, and there shouldn't be any discrimination or um, fear for anyone to have a go. Everyone should come out of their box. Everyone should come out of their bubble and experience things. And that's the biggest thing that I've learned in the last 10 years. You've got to come out your shell. You've got to come out and experience and embrace everything that is going to take you into your next directional step.
No, I agree. What about you, when?
For me, similar to Stephen, if I can encourage even one person to step out into their dream, then this time with you has been worthwhile. But it's the old saying, you can be anything you want to be. And I believe that. Who was the actor? Oh my gosh. There was an act, I think it might have been Robert Downey Jr., but I could be wrong. There was an actor, no, was it George Clooney? There was an actor years ago who started out as an extra, and he's now an A-lister. I'm not sure if it's, and you can Google it, I'm not sure if it's George Clooney or Robert Downey or one of those. But he literally, I think it's George Clooney. I think he started out as I know this person started out as an extra, and they're now a household name and an A-lister. So, you may well be an extra in a movie, but don't limit yourself. If you have dreams to film in Hollywood, go do it. Go do it. You are your worst limit.
Yep.
No, absolutely. Wrapping up, it was a real honor privilege having you both of you on the show. Looking forward to part two down the road. Until we meet again, catch you later. Thank you and have a good night.